So 8 things that you should look for when you go to buy a used motorcycle. Hello guys, I hope you are doing good. I'm still here at this frozen place. My bikes, they are, well, the Kawasaki is, I don't know how to finish that. I am at the point that I need money to finish, and my Goldwing is just frozen, and all the streets around me, they are frozen, so no point trying to get the bike out, despite of the fact that it's 4 degrees now. You know, I could ride, but the streets are too dangerous now. We are now in December 4th, 2024. This is Alberta, Canada. I'm doing this video to give you some perspective where I live, and also talk about things that you should look for in a used bike when you go to buy a used motorcycle, right? So let's go then. It's so bright, oh my god. Yeah, it's all white and bright, and on the main roads the snow is melting, and they are all full of mud and sand and salt. Yeah, so 8 things that you should look for when you go to buy your used motorcycle, a motorcycle that you found, you know, at Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, Kijiji, a motorcycle that your friend wants to sell you, you know, a bike like that. 8 things. I made a list, and the items, the things that you should look for, they are the documents, the visual of the bike, tires, oil, forks or suspension in general, sprockets, brakes, and engine. All of those items, they are easy to check, easy to inspect, and some of those items, they're gonna bring you problems or work or something to do on the bike, you know, money to spend, time to spend on the bike. If you don't want that, yeah, you just go there, have a look, make your inspection. If you find something, just go away, don't take the deal. But if you feel comfortable fixing the things and working on the bike, and if you are willing to spend money on the bike, yeah, just take the deal then. So the first item on the list is the documents. The documents, like registration, number plates, insurance, that could save you a lot of time and trouble and even money, because if you go there just to check the bike and you ask the owner to see the documents, and on the documents it says that the bike is it's rebuild title or salvage title, you should be aware of that, and you should be conscious that in the future, when you try to sell the bike or even register or insurance the bike, you could lose money on that, you know, and you could have problems with that. So you need to figure out what is the status of the bike. Is the bike active status, rebuild, salvage, you know, be aware of that. The second item is very easy and could reveal a lot of stuff for a experienced pair of eyes, it could be a revelation. So you go there and you see the bike, you look the bike, trying to find stuff on the bike, you know, walk around the bike. Don't be emotional. Don't let your adrenaline, your emotion get in the way. You know, don't be blind for that. Walk around the bike, check the fairings, the plastics, the covers, the engine covers, the stance, like how the bike is on the side, on the kickstand, how the bike is, you know, just standing up, how the bike looks like. You know, if there is scratch, if there are scratches, cracks on the fairings and plastics. If the bike is a naked bike, most of them they are. Look for the engine covers if they have scratches, dents. Engine covers, they are aluminum made, and if you drop the bike, usually you're gonna have cracks on the engine cover. You're gonna have, you know, scratches, deep dents. You know, when the bike goes down, when somebody drops the bike and the bike goes down to the floor, the first thing to touch the floor are the handlebar, foot pegs. You know, depending on the side of the bike, the exhaust pipe. You know, sometimes you have to change the mirror, so the bike could have mismatching mirrors, mismatching handlebar stuff, mismatching foot pegs, things like that. You know, if you don't want a bike that was dropped, that got low-sided, be aware of that and don't take the deal. Simple as that. Okay. The third thing, I would say tires. The tires, they might look good, they might, you know, be very good looking, very good condition, but the tires, they age, they have expire date. After 5 years you should change your tires, just because the rubber, it decomposes, and that's the manufacturers and, you know, and the companies, they tell you that. I don't know if they tell you that only to sell tires, but that's the way it is. Most of the mechanics that I know, serious mechanics, experienced mechanics, they would tell you the same thing, and they don't even sell tires, right? So look for the expire date on the tire. Look for the age of the tire. On the sidewall of the tires, they have marks, they have DOT marks, and you can search by those, using those numbers and letters. That code will tell you the age of the tires, right? A good tire is fundamental for the performance of the bike, braking performance, cornering performance. All of that is impacted, like it's influenced by the tires. Okay. The fourth thing, I would say oil. Some bikes, they have sight glass on the sides of the engine, so you can have a look on the color of the oil. If the oil is looking like a mocha, like a double, that's bad. You know, if the oil is looking like really bad, really black, dark color, that's not so bad, but could tell you that the owner didn't change the oil, and even that the owner doesn't care about the bike, doesn't take maintenance seriously. So the oil should look like honey color, clear color, you know. If it's looking dark color, yeah, just be mindful that you will have to change the oil and oil filter, right? The fifth thing is the fork and rear suspension, rear shock. Grab the bike, shake the bike, press the front brake, you know, shake the bike, try to push the bike, put your weight on the bike, sit down on the bike, feel the bike, how the motorcycle behaves. If the forks, they push you back, you know, if it's sagging, if the fork is being compressed too easy, if everything you did, if after everything you did, like shaking, compressing, you know, getting on top and getting off the bike, if after all that you did, the forks are showing oil, it's getting wet, it's dripping oil in excess, right? That means that you would have to work on the forks. You would have to replace the fork seals and change the oil inside the inside the forks, maybe even springs and inside components for the forks. Be aware of that. If the tail of the bike is sagging while you are sitting down on the bike, that could mean that you have to replace the rear shock of the bike, or work on that, you know, somehow. If you are not willing to do that kind of work, or spending that much of money, yeah, go away from the deal. Sprockets, the sixth thing is sprockets. Go around the bike, look the chain, look the rear sprocket. A real good idea is to have a flashlight with you. You know, a flashlight reveals a lot of stuff. Even if you are looking the bike under the sun, like 12 o'clock sun, yeah, a flashlight will be helpful. Don't overlook the importance of having flashlight with you. So have a look on the rear sprocket. If the teeth of the sprockets, they are too sharp, that means that you have to change the sprocket. When you change the rear sprocket, the correct thing to do is to change the front sprocket and chain, everything at once. If the chain is looking rusty, it's not freely moving, it's somehow getting stuck, yeah, you should replace the chain. If you are not willing, again, if you are not willing to do that kind of work on the bike, don't take it. The front sprocket as well, you can see the front sprocket if you go with your flashlight and have a peek under the front sprocket cover. You know, most of the bikes, they are chain driven. My bike, for example, is a GL 1200 Gold Wings shaft driven. It's a shaft driven bike. It has a oil port, you know, oil fuel port, that I can remove the cap and have a look on the splines and have a taste on of the oil as well. Belt driven bikes, it's easy to see if the belt is looking worn and with cracks, like a really dry belt, things like that. You should replace the belt as well, and then the belt is replaced there are numbers of there is a mileage for that belt as well, so be mindful of that. I will not get in details, but yeah, that's the way it is. Brakes, you can check the brakes going to the rotors and look the rotors, try to see the brake pads, touch the rotors, everything you see on the bike, touch it, man. Just put your hands on, because eyes and hands, when you add those together, it tells you a lot of stuff. Okay, use your hands. Yeah, touch the rotors, if they have grooves, if they have scratches, if it is if there is too much play, that means work to do on the bike. You can see the brake pads, for sure you can see, especially if you have a flashlight with you. You can see that the front brake and the rear brake, you can see the brake pads. If they look worn, if they look too thin, you should replace that. Go on top of the bike, try to move the bike, or even beside the bike, grab the bike, try to push the bike. If the bike it's feeling like too heavy to push, sure, some bikes like my Goldwing, it's really hard to push, but I know the weight of the bike. Even a heavy bike, you should be able to move. You should be able to push the bike. Okay, if you are not able to push at all, the brakes, they might be stuck. If the brakes are stuck, that's a lot of work on the brakes. You have to remove the brakes pad, the brake calipers, and replace everything. Clean the brake calipers. You have to remove the pistons and change O-rings and gaskets and things like that. That's a lot of work on the brakes if they are stuck. Compress the brakes, the front brakes. Try to feel that, how the brakes feel, how the brakes they feel. Everything like that. Okay, don't be scared. Don't be scared, man. Try the bike. Get on the bike. You are buying that bike, so try the bike. Do your best to find anything that it will bring you a big bill or a big work, a big job to fix. And for the last but not least at all, the engine. If the bike's not turning, not starting, and you are not willing to work on that, get away from the deal. Turn around. Don't take the deal. If you try to start the bike and the bike doesn't start, it turns over but doesn't run, that could mean a lot of things, like fuel system problems. If the bike is EFI, could be a bunch of things. If the bike is carburetor, could be cleaning the carbs, rejetting, rebuilding the carbs. Lots of bikes, they have 1, 2, 3, 4 carbs. So be mindful of that. If the owner tells you, oh, it's just battery, be ready for that. Bring your battery with you, bring your power pack, your jump cable. Use your car to turn over the bike. If you don't have anything like that, tell the owner, hey, I'm gonna come back another day with a friend or with my battery, my tools and things like that. Can I try to start the bike with my battery? Can I jump the bike with my car, with my boost cable, try to start the bike? If you get the bike running, perfect. Yeah, the bike is running. If it runs fine without weird noises and idles fine and things like that, well, you have a good bike. Just change batteries, right? But if it doesn't idle fine, that could mean like that could be a fuel system problem, carburetors, electronic fuel injection problems, you know, things like that. You know, be mindful of that. Look the engine for oil leaks. If the gasket they are wet, if you can see oil running through the engine from the top to bottom, if you see drips of oil underneath the bike, if the fairings from the inside they are somewhat dirty and with black stuff, yeah, that could mean that could be oil leak. You know, that could be a lot of stuff. You know, that could be just a retorque on the bolts around the bike, a cover gasket change, replace. You know, but also could be something more seriously, like a crack on the engine block. That could be something more complex. So be mindful of that, you know. And in any case, it's always good. It's always a good idea to have a friend with you that is more experienced than you, that knows what to look on the bike. And even the guy, if not, it is not more experienced than you, is still good, because another set of eyes could see what you are not seeing. Okay, a double check, it's always good to have. Okay, so those are the 8 items. I still trying to improve my videos and testing stuff. So thank you very much to watch this video. If you liked this video, if I gave you some ideas and some good opinions, and so give you a thumbs up for me, please. Consider to subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed and come back to see another videos, and I will try to make good ones and to improve my channel. Okay, that's all for today. I'm still driving this cold place. I hope you are liking the view. For a lot of people, it is interesting to see the snow and how a cold place looks like. And yeah, man, this is Canada, Alberta. Near to Christmas, so we are getting closer to Christmas, and I'm looking forward really hard for spring and summer again. Okay, see you on the next one. Ciao, ciao.